the scheme. This boy's done. Might need to touch up the rim. But yeah, he's pretty much done. Let's put him in the done pile. I'm not sure I like their chest plates, but then I don't really like throwing them on the floor on Imperial Guard chest plate because it's not armored enough, right? That's fine. Here's an example of one that needs to be done. Zed's face. It's a bit naff. So I use one that needs to be done. These boys. Bit of dust. Face needs painting. Eyes need finishing. But they're pretty good. So that's red. That goes in the red pile. I think we've got. Well, this is my favorite miniature. Bright Wizard Psyker. I just think that's really fucking neat. His face needs doing today. And the base. So he goes in the face pile. Blood. Babe. This is our assassin. Got a little shoulder gun. This guy's made from a. What's he made from? Corn. Blood something. You know what I mean? It's a Danger Sigma, the Corn, Marauder, whatever the hell they are. And then he's painted his skin black, his legs black to go with like a onesie suit. He's got armoured legs, because why wouldn't he have armoured legs? Chin part is from a Chaos helmet, the old Chaos helmets. Top is from Tyrannid Spare Parts Skull. The dreads at the back are Lictor. I think it's a Lictor. Shoulder cannon is a Las gun pistol. Shoulder pad is also from the Imperial Guard. That blade is from, I think it's a dark elder or something. Same as that. Pole is from a dwarf banner. Yeah, that's him. Oh, I don't know what kind of assassin he is. Not sure. But I like him. Only problem is he's way taller than our imps. I guess he's not. He's just got a very proud helmet. This is our first attempt at a homemade jump pack. It's made from the phone from the command squad of whatever the hell they are. Tempestus Sirens, there we go. And then you got like the little cables. I don't know, it could be good. It could be good. For most of these imps we're doing today, we're just finishing off their head guards. See the green stuff on their heads? Or faces. We're just painting that. I'm not sure what colour we're going for today. I think we're either going to go for Thunderhawk blue or we're going to go for black. We've got our test model somewhere. So, we've got Thunderhawk blue and we've got black. Don't know which one I like. Kind of like both. But I do need to touch up. See how there's yellow on his chin strap. And some of them don't even have a chin strap. Some are just straight smooth like this guy. I think black looks good because it goes with the boots, but it's just a bit too shiny. I think we need to put some null in order to knock that shine back a bit. Decisions. I think it doesn't really matter when the what else do we need to do? Oh yeah, today this is our banner. It's okay. I want the whites to be whiter. Not all over, just in places. And then we gotta think. I know. I gotta think of a name for these boys. Don't think this guy was washed either. Yeah, you can tell he's not. So this is just the base coat of the yellow with the brown. And then this is the washed version. Kind of like it like that. It looks clean, really clean. This one looks filthy, but they would really be clean in battle. Maybe if I was doing like vehicle crew or something, maybe that would be a little bit cleaner. And then we've got to dry brush his face to so that goes into the face bar. And then repairs like that. He also needs face. Oh wait, then we need to touch up our commander. Need to fix his hand. Touch up his helmet. Nah, his helmet's fine actually. You just need to select a highlight, do the base. And they all just need a good dusting. I don't know where they've been, but they're not a happy place. To the faces and hands, I just put Bugsman Glow and then put a wash on, and then I'll just dry brush the hands and the face with skin tone just one take. That's it, done. Because they're plebs at the end of the day, right? The Imperial Guard. You don't need that much detail on the face, but I think that's pretty good. A 10-second job on his face, done. Quite an easy paint scheme. I like it. The longest part is doing the helmets, getting rid of all the chunks, and then just doing the brown for the camo. Because you don't want it all to look the same. Right. But then you do want to look kind of somewhat the same. So, trying to think, what does he need done? His grenade's done, his face is done. I think he goes to the done pile. Nice one. Yes! One off the list. Where are you, shotgun veteran? Reveal yourself. There you go. There he is. That's just a flamethrower stuck on the other way around. Same thing with his skin. It's just a Bugsman Glow, then a dry brush of skin. Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's done. I think he's one of my favourites. Just because he's the most unique out of the group. Who else we got down there? Oh, then we got our veterans slash whatever. So these are the spare heads from Tempested Silence, I'm pretty sure. And then I thought, stick a few of these in. Either I could put them in one with each group of 10 to be a sergeant or whatever, or I could just make a group of 10 of them and they could just be variants or whatever. Plus they just change it up a bit, right? I like uniform and I like tidy, but I don't like samey. So let's get all of them out and let's see if they need any work done. Ha! Oh, there he does. He needs a wash on his face. You can already see that. One of them's actually just straight up missing the head. That's fine, actually. I'll make the his eyes need something. That's one thing I hate doing his eyes. Yeah, that looks more psyker eye. You know, if I just dry brushed around his eyes, maybe like blue or white or whatever, he would look like just a crazy psycho. So he's gone on the pile. He needs his eye done. So So he goes with the faces. His face needs touching up. He's got purple on him. Weirder. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to do something with their eyes. Oh, and the guns are short, to be more carbine-like. Faces. Then we've got our super veteran. Wee 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 wee. Yeah, I remember when I did that ages ago. Ages and ages and ages ago. Whenever it was. I was like, whoa, this is super fucking cool. And then made the Mandalorian show. I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then the more and more I look at it, the more and more I'm like, damn, this kind of sucks, because this is one of the first green stuff things done. And then we got this dude who made our Halo inspired guy, who's an orc. Yeah. So I think I could have done a better job on him, like his armor and stuff, and his helmet. But I like him. He's different. He's on the dumb pile. Okay, really. Yeah, they're pretty much done. Yeah, good enough for me. Done. Same again with the eyes. Need something to do with the eyes. Just realised they also got no eyebrows. Yeah, they've got no eyebrow hair. Weird. Oh, and his mouth. He's done. We'll probably do the same mouth for our orc. That for our okay. I just realised their paint scheme is really, really similar. You got yellow banner, yellow armor, Xandri dust skin, Xandri dust clothes, black boots, brown leather, brown trousers. Oh no, they're sames. It does show what colours I like, and then it shows that I am a one-trick pony. Oh no, I'm gonna have to find something to paint different now, just in principle. Alright, so he goes in eyes. Yeah, we're gonna have to do eyes in one big lot after we figure out what the hell we're doing for eyes. Yeah. These guys need. This is what the first attempt. It was just gonna be yellow and whatever. I didn't much like it. So then you see how I cut the helmet, shaved the helmet. So these guys probably need the most work. I think some tufts of grass on our bases would kind of set them out a bit. And the thing I'm most unhappy with this army, what I did ages ago, was the vehicles. I think they're rubbish. I think I did such a bad job on them. So I just did the Xandri dust, which is fine. That's the colour I wanted. I did the stripes, which looks fine. And then I just covered the whole thing in Earthshade. And it's just left this disgusting fucking smear all over. Right. So I don't know how I'm going to fix that, but I have to fix that. Yeah, see how you kind of just see it. So, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do to fix it. So I don't want to base coat again because it will lose all its detail. I can't really strip it. Can't just leave it in a tub of Dettol because then it gets filled with Dettol in the hollow inside, and then it reeks of Dettol forever. So that's another big job for today. I think what we're gonna do. I don't want to dry brush it because then it will just leave it dusty. We'll have to try. Yeah. Because that's the thing. I think this will mess me up. The Sentinel was literally just Xandri dust and then absolutely covered in shade mix, whatever it was, and it looks fine, right? Some bits are a bit much or whatever, but that looks fine. That just needs a base. And maybe a few cables changed and a few little minor details put in. But yeah, that looks fine. So it's just the big vehicles. I think it's just where it's just such big panels. And yeah. That's fine. Alright. Let's get started. We've been gabbing on for too long now. Let's finish off our tea. Got another tip for painting. Don't use a plate. Plates suck. I would use a flat tile or something flat. Don't use this. Just getting it off is a pain. I guess another tip would be don't do as I do. What else have I done that's completely wrong? Oh yeah, put them into droppers. Yeah, good idea, right? Nice idea, works. Makes stuff way more efficient. Until you put the wrong kind of ball bearing in, and it rusts inside your paint, and now it's got some weird ball there. Yeah, it's my fault. What did I use? I used a brass plated ball. My smooth brain didn't think, you know what, this might rust inside. What else can you see? That's, yeah, there you go. It's an alarming medium. What's happened to it? It's like a sludge. Yeah, so don't do as I do. Make sure you use stainless steel balls. Yeah, so I won't say all my paints are ruined, but the rusty ball at the bottom of all of my paints isn't helping. Yeah, it's actually fucking up. Well, there you go, you can't see it there. Oh well, lessons learned. It sucks. But as Odin said, it is what it is. Yep, that's that one. Why, Lord? Why have you forsaken me? Have it on black, you would never know. It's black. But no, no. One of the paints has been left slightly open in this inferior lid. It's probably dry. Oh well. Oh, this is our homemade alpha legion colour. What is this? I think this is Thunderhawk Blue with lead belcher. We didn't end up using it. We ended up using contrast paint. What is it? No, I don't think it actually is, but there you go. That's all. So that was that 1-for-1? I think it was 1-for-1. I don't really see it. Guess we have to paint something with it. What should we paint? Well, there he is. Hey, commissar, where you been? I'm thinking about putting the helmet on. You know, the same as everyone else. Dust ball. Now, whatever brush we use cannot be one that we dunk. Damn, my brushes are messed up. You know what, we're just going to finger paint. There we go, perfect. Finger painted. Let that dry, and you'll see the homemade Alpha Legion colour. We ended up using the contrast. What was that? Lead belcher sprayed. Then rune steel? Yeah, rune steel dry brushed on. Then you put your contrast colour on, which was... I'll find it. No, not that one. Damn, which one was it? I think it was... Yeah, it was. It was. Terran turquoise. And then you put that on. I fucked up like I normally do. I absolutely drenched it in non-oil, which is a bad idea. What I should have done, I should have got some oil. Made a wash out of my oil paints, and then I should have tapped it into the corners like a light green to give it the green edge, and it would have looked way tidier. But it is what it is. What sniper needs doing? Sniper, take a 5, go dog. Oh, and then our tech priest. I was thinking about tech priest last night as I was lying in my bed thinking about tech priests. I was thinking, should we give oil paints a go on our tech priests? And I was like, nah, I kind of want my Imperial Guard to army to look good. I don't want to fuck him up, so we'll save him. Right, bases, helmets, faces. Let's do it. Alright. What colour do you want? Thunderhawk or black? And then we need to fix. You know what? We'll do the Ogren's mouth. Let's do his mouth. Alright, I need. Where's my book actually? Is my book got it in there? No, I don't need my book. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get new paints, man. Because I got fucked up thanks to my smooth brain. Oh, we do red first. Nowhere near shaking enough. Yeah, that's proof that our red has gone purple and red. That's got to be enough now. Yes. Blood! Oh, yeah, it's gone red. Nice. So we wet it. What? First thing, when I did these Ogrins, I didn't have an idea for their mouth. It only took me recently. I did these guys years and years ago when I got back into the hobby. So I didn't have a mouth or that sort of idea. Yeah, I've got a lot better since I started. It's one of the interesting things, right? Like you learn things, you know, like the whole tank thing, how I messed it up. And yeah. So it's always interesting. I always get the I want to like, oh man, I really messed that guy up. I know so much better now. I want to go back and change it. But then once you change one, you have to change them all, or they look weird, right? Damn, I was hoping that would take longer, so I could have more time to think. So what do you think about eyes and face and eyes and faces? Let's get this guy clean. So much dust. Yeah. So much. Right. So we need a lot to do on this guy, I think. We need to tidy up his gold. We need to tidy up the red. Still dusty. And we need to tidy up his face. See how I tried doing his eye? His eye is a little bit funky. We can fix most of the things just by dry brushing. Just the eye, man. Goddamn eyes, I hate them. See, the orange can be fixed. Literally just get a dry brush and go. Because people don't realize that, like, when you have a base color, then you put oil or whatever on it. Now you have two different colors, right? You have the color, your base color, that's now darker because you have Nuln oil all over it, and then you have the darkest color where the majority of your Nuln oil was. So if you just go back with the original color and do the tops, you've highlighted the highest areas with your lightest version of your 3 colours. And it's kind of, if you're like me, and you're not very good, it's a cheap way of just doing edge highlights. So you have 3 levels of darkness, right? Or light, or whatever you want to call it. So I learned that when I was doing my bases. So base is just Xandri dust, and then Agric Earthshade, and then you just dry brush it with Agric Earthshade again, and then if you really want it to stand out, then you go Screaming Skulls, and that's what I did for all the trousers as well. So once I figured out that, I was like, oh, that's like 3 whole steps, or 2 steps done. For the price of 1. Yeah, he is. Mate in here needs to dry brush and Xandri dust. We'll do that right now. Nope. There we go. Yep, there's our rusty ball. Every time we look at any paints, we're reminded of how smooth brained we are. Yeah, and I hate myself. Why, Lord? Could you bless me with a wrinkle or 2? There we go. There's our homemade Alpha Legion colour. Pretty neat, right? So now we just finger painted them. Yeah, so I think the reason we didn't like this one, I don't know why we didn't like it. It looks alright. We have to compare it. So yeah, alright, let's move on. I'm procrastinating again. Do we just get our brush? Where the fuck is my dry brush? This isn't a dry brush, this is a base brush. There it is. We got this. Smash, 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 smash. To break up the massive chunk up here. There we go. Smash, 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 smash. Realise we have too much paint. Wipe the sides. Then we got this. Smash. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see me smashing. Smash, 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 smash. And then I use my finger. Oh, a bit too wet. It might sound crazy or new age, but what you do, you get your 2 fingers and you got this. That feels dry. And there's paint on my finger. So it's dry, and there's paint, and it's on my thumb. Or finger, whatever you want to do. So maybe this is the right amount for dry brushing. Don't worry, guys. You can clap and cheer in your own time. This is a dirty ass camo that we did. Oh, sorry, guys. So he's got the wrinkles going horizontally. We want to go that way. If you go that way, you just gonna bury into the. We're not bothered if we get it onto the yellow. Or the hand. We don't care if we get it onto the hand because it's kind of skin colour. So if we're being really lazy, I was saying earlier how we did the Bugsman glow and then we put the flesh tone on. We don't need to. If we want to be lazy, we could just wash the whole model and then just go over with our Xandria Dust dry brush, even on the hands. Look, there we go. Now he has detail on his hands, and that's nothing. Takes 3 seconds. Look, he's got a stupid face. Xandria Dust's face. Easy. Really doesn't take much to turn a plebby little Imperial Guard into an okay Imperial Guard. Okay, she's got circle motion. Pick up at the raised bits. Yep, that's good. Oh, missed the scope. There we go. It's a little bit funny. This really needs sword. What does he need? He needs camo, which a lot of them don't actually need, so we got more fan brand. Oh, another thing not to do. Don't Lenny hand your paints. Lenny hands. I guess only a few people get that reference, or actually loads of people would get that reference. I wonder if how many other people? Because I know everyone in England will get their Lenny hands. Like everyone, most people get their Lenny hands. I wonder if the continentals and the colonies will get that reference. I get great joy being an idiot and saying stupid things. Let's go. Oh. Ow. So, what I did, I just looked up camo. But for this over-exaggerated sort of camo, with the patterns, I looked at World War II camos. Where camos were kind of relatively new and everyone was like, oh, what the fuck? You could dress your guy as a tree and he kind of blends in with a tree, pretty neat. Because if you look at our... Where are they? Elysian? These Elysian dropships? No. They're, what the hell did I call them? The best designs, there we go. See how he has some grey blobs in them? This is World War II camo from somewhere, I forget. But then I got around to doing these dudes, and I was like, I really can't be bothered. Can't be bothered to do that. So we just literally get it, and we go. That's it. It's camo at the end of the day. And if your camo's not good, what you do is you say, yeah, some guy in a trench, some random dude in a trench did it, and that's why it's not great. That's why a lot of new people love painting orcs, because you can literally be the worst painter in the world and then just say, yeah, they're orcs. You know, orcs suck at painting. So that's why my painting sucks. Which is great. It's what I do with my orcs. Like, from earlier, if you saw, his banner looks utter trash. And if anyone ever says, hey man, your banner looks a bit interesting. You just go, yeah, you know, a weird orc did it. This is a bit thin. This is thin in comparison to the other ones, but that's fine. And plus also, with our camo, we can cover up bits. See how that bit there, the Aquila, is it very done or shaded in? That would cover it with brown. Or that Aquila hasn't got any silver on it, cover it in brown. Part looks like it should be edge highlighted, cover it in brown. And it breaks up the yellow, well, hence why they have camo, right? Oh, you know, that bit looks a bit, but cover it in brown. Too much wash there, cover it in brown. Too much yellow there, cover it in brown. Yeah. What you can do if you want to kind of stop yourself from being monotonous or whatever. See, with this Imperial Guard or whatever, we just did random, whatever. But for one guard, you would have all the patterns going at this angle, next one this angle, this one that one, yeah, and you just keep changes. You can literally just hold your guy and go like that. Next guy's like that, so they don't all look the same. Yep, happy with him. We need silver and then we need the red lenses. So I've always thought about, see this part here? That little, where are you camera? Right here, this bit here. What do you do with that? Do we paint that? Is it a battery? Is it not a battery? We're done for camos. Put this back on so we could damage our teeth again, trying to pull it off again. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Ogren. Dry. And then we get our dry brush again, which is wet. Which is fine, it's not a big deal. That's the part that does require maybe a bit of cleaning up. So we're going to dry brush his mouth. So the edges of his gums and parts of his mouth, like you know, his nose might get it, and it's fine if his gums get it, 'cause, you know, or his lips or whatever. That's fine. Then we're just going to have to clean up later on, or just use a smaller brush. Maybe. Oh, need to mix this. Need to mix the devil out of it. Unlike Bob, this is not my favourite part. Well, test my hand, it is dry. It's not too much. There we go. We've got red, Mephiston red. Then we've got our purple, which is Screamer pink. Then we get them, hold them at some sort of weird angle, and then we go stick it in his mouth maybe. That's it, we're done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now we get our tyrant skull. We mix it because we're an idiot. And we realise, oh my god, it's actually a dry paint, so we don't need to mix it. You get a bit, let's put it down, you get a bit. Now we paint his teeth. And there we go. His mouth is already way better. We don't need to be perfect with his teeth because, find some sort of excuse, he's an Ogren and he doesn't have a toothbrush, so his teeth are fucked up. Or, he's English. Yeah, there you go. He's English. He's an English Ogre. There you go. Excuse made. Good enough for me. We like him. We like him though. What's I doing? Faces. No, we need to let a dry brush is dry. Alright. Helmets. Let's do the helmets. Decided we're doing Thunderhawk blue. Nah, I don't like Thunderhawk blue. Damn, which one do we like, guys? I don't know. Go for blue. You know why we go for blue? Because we have two models painted with blue and only one painted with black. So, past me must have thought blue was good. So we're going blue. I don't think that's the same blue, is that? No way is that Thunderhawk blue. It's not McCrack blue. I have a feeling it's Stegodon? Stegodon. Must be. I don't think it is Thunderhawk blue. Why didn't... Oh, yeah, it is. Yep. Let's begin. Oh, that's not my conversion I did. Plasma gun, dude. Plasma pistol from some dude. Space Marine probably. I like him, but he's got a little flame that I'm gonna paint blue right now. I nearly messed up. I need to put a colour that doesn't belong. That's my crack blue.
To go from this to this, boy oh boy, you are in the right place. If you don't know how to go about it, in this video you will learn how to do it. And before I show you any actual brush strokes, let me explain what is wrong, for example, with these two faces that you can see right now on screen. I mean, these miniatures have the paint job so bad, I would consider it art on its own. In order to have nicely painted face, it is always better to have a really detailed miniature. In this case, you can see that all of the details and recesses have been kinda filled with thick coat of paint. If you cover the miniature with so much paint, you will absolutely destroy all of the details, and you won't be really able to wash/shade it. And honestly, it's gonna look pretty bad. You can even see that the eyes are all over the place, and that this happened because there was no point where you could aim your brush. Another thing to notice here is that the skin is painted with just one paint. And this doesn't really work out on the face since it lacks volume. So to avoid this, you should at the very least build one smooth layer of skin tone, then use some sort of wash and paint the eyes after that. Now this is very simplistic and I don't even use this method. Instead I am using layering/glazing to build up some nice volume. Now I will not talk a whole lot about each individual paint, but know that I have used these two skin tone sets from scale 75. Alright, so with that being said, let's paint! I'm starting off really dark here with this brown, and I am progressively gonna build up the skin with lighter skin tones. It might take you 2 or 3 thin coats for nice foundation. After the foundation has been built, I'm taking lighter layer, but definitely not the lightest one yet, and I will layer it down just like this. You wanna make the layer transparent enough so the brown is still visible through the layer. And that is definitely the case for the space under his cheekbones. You can see that I'm first covering the main facial features, such as nose, cheekbones, eyebrows, chin and mouth. Since these parts are gonna end up being the brightest in the end anyway, I wanna see first if I'm going in the right direction, and after that I am layering the rest of the space. With this first layer, I have covered around 80% of the face. Of course, this is just a rough estimate, because I leave this coat somewhat transparent on some places. So essentially, I am glazing in more shaded parts and layering on the exposed parts. So I suppose that now is a good time to talk about difference between glazing and layering. Now if you are a little bit confused about these two techniques, don't worry, because there is pretty much just one single difference, and that is that when you are glazing you are using way more water, or any sort of medium. As such, glazing is much more suitable when you are trying to build that smooth gradient, just like here for example between the dark and lighter colors, because it makes the previous layer way more visible. Glazing is also somewhat necessary when you are painting non-metallic metal, since smoothness is really important there. However, if you are layering with less water, you will be much quicker overall. Now that doesn't mean that you have to choose one or the other, because they really work nicely together. For example, I will use layering to cover his chin, and I will use glazing to pretty much cover the area between his cheekbone and the chin, to make this area sort of smooth and still so there is shade under his cheekbone. As I progress with this guy's face, it is sort of the same process over and over again, just with different paints. You will see me build smooth coats on top of each other, and as I go lighter and lighter, I will cover less and less of his face. And the lightest or the brightest part will definitely be his nose, cheekbones, eyebrows, lips and chin. I think that many of you have already noticed now that I am not using any sort of wash so far. If I was about to use GW wash, I would either go for Reikland Flesh Shade or even more likely for Ager's Earthshade, also known as literal unicorn tears in a jar that improve every single paint job, but using this method though I don't need any wash. Since I started really dark, I don't need to darken the recesses. Instead, I am using my layering/glazing method to slowly but surely build up smooth, bright skin tone. If you are painting bald head just like this one, you also want to put there a nice even layer on top of it. As you approach sides of his head, however, you should layer less and glaze more, as sides should definitely be darker than the top of his bald head. Now I'm pretty much finishing the skin with the last layer, and this one is definitely the brightest and as such is used just for the chin, cheekbones, nose and the eyebrows. We are also gonna hit his lower eyelids, but that comes a little bit later. Before I move on to paint his eyes, I will glaze this scar on his face with just a little bit of pink paint. To paint the eyes, you have to have iron will and balls of steel. And by balls of steel, I mean your eyeballs, because they have to stay focused. Yeah, so pretty much I mean that you have to be really patient and just be careful. First, take any kind of black and cover his eye socket. If you hit his lower eyelid, this is sort of to be expected, but surely do not hit any more than that. As I already mentioned, you need to be really focused and patient here and just try to hit the correct area, which is the eye socket. Now I'm taking close to white paint for better as pure white does not cover that well, and I am trying to cover even less surface at the center of the eye socket. When you are painting the eyes and any face really, you will really see the importance of picking high quality brushes with a really nice tip. And now, finally, we are gonna paint the pupil. I always aim for the center down of the eye socket near the bottom eyelid, as if it looked like he is looking down, but I guess that is just my preference and what I find works the best. It usually doesn't work out on the first try, so be prepared to go back and forth between the white and black until it looks right. And just when I feel like it looks good, I go back to the lightest skin tone and cover his lower eyelids. For his teeth, I also use off-white paint.
Hey there, brother. Holy shit. You have an eye. He has an eyeball. That's not on its eye. No, we're doing so good, man. Oh, we can clean that. There we go. Kind of has an eye. Wide. Oh. Well, I need dips into my. Then we have to go black again, right? Let's see. We have to go even smaller. Damn, this brush isn't pointy enough. I'm using like this tiny little hair piece. There's an eye. I don't know if you boys can see it. It's like right there. Kind of has an eye. Do some on the other side. need to clean up the skin tone, which we'll do right now. Where is it? Yep. You want to see cute Ogren? I'll show you cute Ogren. This is a cute Ogren. This is Gums. You know, he's got the purple gums, you know, looking sick. Now let's try and do what you said earlier about putting like kind of like thin coats on the highest points. I think. Nah. Nope. It's not. Keep trying. Nice. Let's do the other Ogren size. That's a beady-eyed motherfucking guy. We're gonna have to find our actual flesh shade. Where is it? Whoa. Hey, thanks, buddy. What? There's one. Morning, buddy. Is it morning still? Yeah, it's still morning.
As big as this.
Oh, very clever deception indeed.
Deception indeed.
Your eyes done. First raid in existence on this channel. Yeah, I appreciate it. What?
As big as this.
Yes, the infliction. We're painting. We're practicing our eyes on our oculars. Good stuff. First attempt. And then we got second attempt. And then in a bit, we're gonna have to do it on this. Yeah. Chunky, yeah, they're great. I love opens. Always reminds me. It's gonna sound harsh, but it always reminds me of the Goonies, and I love the Goonies. Damn, I loved that film when I was a kid. Yeah, they do, man. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Top tier, man. It's crazy to think that Samwise Gamgee was in that film as a babby, man. Top tier film, 100%. So, yeah, if you haven't seen that film, I don't think you actually had a childhood. There we go. Alright. Kind of done. Yeah, I like it. Alright, done. Perfect. Now let's do the third one. Yeah! He's like a full-on child in it. I'm pretty sure, if I'm crazy. You have to Google yourself, but yeah. Pretty sure it's him. Unless I'm losing my mind. Probably am. Yeah. Yeah. That's nuts. God, Samwise out there doing the Lord's work. Oh, he's bugger. He's got a big old eyeball. Bigger. A little bit bigger. Oh, I like his beady eye. Hey, thanks, buddy. I'm gonna have to check your stream out next time you stream. Let's do this beady eye. Beady eye. Done. I'm gonna have to clean up around how we kind of overspilled it. Yeah, there we go. Kind of done. I'm gonna clean up his beady eye. Yeah, we could use this opportunity. Well, that's why we're here, to clean up some of this. There's a bit too much. I'm not happy with his right eye. let's just do that. Might be a bit much, but we can clean that. Yeah, I think I just need to do more white so that the left and the right of the white is black. I think I'm doing my white too small. So the black, when we do the black on the top, is, yeah. Yeah. He's gonna look cockeyed if we don't do that properly. Yeah. I'll let that dry. Ow! The fuck, Gums? Stabbing me. What is that? What is that stuck in your eye? No, it's a chunk of something. So we decided to go back into a bigger white instead of such a small white. Because if it overlaps, we could just clean it, right? Because I don't know what to call him, but his eye is just a bit small. I think we might have to. I think I might go over them again and dry brush them with a bit more purpose. And then I am going to do what he said. What did he say? He was going to put a pink in the scar. We're going to do that right now. Hey, thanks, buddy. There we go. Pink in scar. Anyone else got any scars? You got any scars? No, you're just ugly. You got any scars? No, you're just ugly too. No, fair enough. Alright, let's try and do this iris again. No, it's black. It's black paint, not white. Right, let's do this. Make his eyes like that. So we want his eye to also be in the same direction. We don't want it to the side, we don't want it to the left or the right or up to the bottom. We want it the same, or he will look odd. Perfect. Holy shit. That's pretty good. Just gotta clean it up even more, but it's fine. sort of clean up around the eye. No, we painted his eye. Fuck. No, come on, man. That makes me sad. Oh, their eyes, man. They're not great, but I kind of like them. Here we go. Eyes, done. Nice. Alright, let's carry on watching the video. See what else he's got.
Because as I said, white by itself usually does not cover that well.
Yeah, what
And
do we
be
use
careful
for
to cover
the
just the
tyrant
teeth
skull
and nothing
for?
else, or you will have to fix it again.
Amazing.
I will also paint the recesses between his lips and teeth with watered down black color. This will stain his teeth a little bit, so another coat may be necessary. The same is true for his lower lip, so I will cover it too. Before I call this face finished, I will use pinkish red paint to glaze over the tongue. Just the tip is enough in this case. Finally, I covered the metallic studs on his forehead, and that's the face finished.
Then we dry brushed it with
Okay, we got the male face covered, and what I'm gonna show you now is how to paint a face that is more
teeth. I
soft.
don't know why I did
We
the
are
red
gonna
mark.
use here more light and desaturated paints, so I would perhaps recommend using this method for female and elf faces, but honestly just use it for whatever you like. I am starting with more of a pinkish base layer, and even though it looks fairly light so far, do not worry, as when it dries it will get darker. Once it's on her face, the paint that is, I'm picking lighter paint with more yellow and white in it and start covering mainly the chin, cheeks, nose and forehead. Keep in mind that adding white just desaturates the paint, while adding yellow will make it pop more. That is why lighter skin tones add both of these elements. That is also one of the reasons why you need to add yellow when highlighting red or green colors. As you can see, I am once again glazing over darker areas and layering on those parts which I know will be bright. So honestly, as you can see, the process here is quite similar to the first face, but since here the face is more round with less recesses, you will have to really focus on making the transitions as smooth as possible. Like this, I'm adding lighter and lighter layers and making them as smooth as possible. I even use more glazing off camera to not bore you to death. so don't be surprised if you see too much difference between the shots. I am now once again painting mouth and the eye sockets, so again be careful to not hit anything other than that. Center of the eye sockets and mouth is gonna be painted with off-white, leaving a black line near the edges. I would recommend being rather patient here, so you don't have to come back to your skin tone paints. You can see me stroke the same point over and over again until the paint catches on where I want it to be. And so once that is done, I go back to my black paint and mark the pupils again in the center down area. To finish the face, I pick even lighter skin tone and go over the most elevated features, and I even smooth out the gradient by glazing off cam. Here you can see what sort of movement am I doing with my brush. This is how I gather the paint in one spot, like here on this cheek and forehead when the paint is too thin. So the face now is finished, and after I painted the eyebrows, here are both heads fully finished. Okay my friends, so this is the video. Hopefully you learned something new and now your faces won't be looking like this. So if you did learn something new and you would like to see more content like this, just don't be shy, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you will know about every single video that I'm gonna release. If you wanna help this channel out, go ahead and like this video so that way the miniature painting gods will bless me and they will shove this video in front of others. So yeah, this is it. If you have any feedback, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section, and bye.
Thank you, buddy. Enjoy your lunch, buddy.
In this video, I'm going to tell you about why I don't bother painting eyes anymore.
I just the whole video about why eyes need to be painted.
Warning, Uncle Adam is not a professional. He's usually not even very good. Try any and all of Uncle Adam's pro tips at your own risk. Void where prohibited, Uncle Adam is not actually an uncle.
Shortly after this video is released, I will receive a haircut,
Unfortunately.
and the fez will go back on the
Overrated,
shelf.
Don't bother.
There's a lot of different techniques that you might need to know to paint miniatures. People talk about a lot of different
24 now?
things. Dry brushing and edge highlighting and wet blending and all these different things. And I've talked about how some of them, if you're a beginner, you don't need to pay very close attention to, and other ones, if you know you're an expert, you may or may not even still need to pay very close attention to. It's totally up to you. The great thing about this hobby is if you're happy with the output, that's all that matters. If you had a good time doing it, and you're happy with the output, even if you're not ecstatic about the output, you're like pretty happy about the output. This is good. I know I can do better, and I look forward to doing better next time. That's really all that actually matters. This isn't so much a technique, although it can.
Cheers, bud. Also exactly not useful, but the video's done now, right? Just said if I'm happy with it, it's good enough. Nice. Alright. Actually, I'll watch the whole video.
Can be a bit of a technique. It's just more of a process. It's more of a part of a model that I just generally don't bother with, and I'm going to explain why. There's a lot of different reasons, but there's a couple of main ones. What I'm talking about is painting eyes. That is painting tiny, tiny, tiny little irises, painting tiny little whites of the eyes and around the eye on models that are seriously like yay big, right? I mean, that's hard. That's very difficult to do, obviously. And I get a lot of people who are getting into the hobby and beginners who are saying, I can't do that. I've tried a couple of times to try to make that, but they always look, frankly, kind of crazy, or just, and so I don't want to do that, right? I just don't know how to, I'm going to ruin my models by not painting their eyes properly. They're all going to look, like their eyes are going different directions, or they're going to look like with scare, and you don't want that. And so the answer then is to just don't bother. But you can't just decide not to paint certain parts of the model. Well, as it turns out, you can. They're your models. You can decide to not paint certain parts of the models as much as you want. There are an entire group of people out there who don't want to paint the bases ever. They want the bases to stay black, and that's That's fine. It's not what I like to do. I like to paint stuff on the bases and put little tufts of grass once in a while and skulls, always skulls. But, you do you, and I'm going to keep doing what I want to do with my models. And so that's why I'm explaining here. Again, this is not to tell you that if you paint eyes on your models, you're wrong or stupid or anything like that. I'm just explaining why I don't do it. And again, if you're newer, then you can take this information and go, okay, maybe that's why I'm not going to do it as well. One of the reasons I don't do it is because it's very, very, very difficult to make it work. Even when the pros do it on the fancy websites, it still sometimes looks a little weird. That's the second reason why I don't do it, is because even if it's done well, it looks weird, right? If you looked at a person from a long distance away, which would be to scale about roughly the same as you holding a miniature, even out at arm's length, not even talking about on the table, if you could see the whites of their eyes, that would be very weird, wouldn't it? Like if you could see a person who was, I don't know, let's say you're on the second floor, you're looking down at a person who's, 70 feet away. If you could see the whites of their eyes, they must have humongous eyes. It was Colonel William Prescott at the Battle of Bunker Hill who was famously, quoted as saying, "Don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes." And what he was trying to do was conserve ammo. So what he was telling his soldiers was, wait till they get very close. So close that you can see the whites of their eyes and then fire. It's ammo conservation, which we don't necessarily pay attention to in the games that we play. But if you think about it, if you can see someone's whites of their eyes, you must be awfully close to them. And if they're very small and it's a scale model thing, it just doesn't work for me. I don't care how nice it looks. It just never works. Now, here are some situations in which it works. If it's like a Skaven, right? And they have the little red beady eyes, and you just go in there and you just go tap and you just give them a little red eye right there. That works. It's cartoony a little bit, but it is so small that it still stands out. And even from a distance, you may not see it, but you may catch that glint of color from a distance. And that's fine, because what you're talking about, what you're trying to show is to some degree the reflectiveness of the retina on an animal's eyes. Have you ever had your dog or your cat look at you in just the right angle and the light's behind you and their eyes are glowing? Their eyes are not actually glowing. You're seeing a reflection of the light behind you, right? And so even the Skaven, although every once in a while in a video game or something like that, they actually have glowing eyes. In general, that's not what animals do. So if you want to get in there and they give you the proper sculpt, if there's actually a little bump in there that you can get in there and go boop and just give it a little bit of red. I did that on the Skaven I did recently for Warcry. So in those situations, totally makes sense. If you're painting zombies and you can get at the eye enough and you want them to look just all white, you know what I mean? Like that kind of white dead eye look, great, you can do that. But I'm telling you, you don't need to go in and put in the detail of the irises and the pupils and the whites of the eye and all that kind of stuff, because it's not realistic. Now, admittedly, we are painting weird little robot monsters, space people, aliens, giant rats. I get it. Realism is not super important. But if you just go in there and just sort of flood the eye socket with wash, that will take care of the problem. When I'm painting a model's face, the second to last step for me is always to go in there and to kind of just flood the eye sockets, usually with some brown wash. I generally use Agrax Earthshade from Games Workshop, but you use whatever kind of brown wash you like. And you just kind of get it in there and sort of flood in the area. Depending on the skin color of your model, maybe if it's some sort of alien or something like that, maybe you throw black wash in there, but you wouldn't go the lighter wash. You would either go dark brown or darker. And what that does is it adds in the shadows. If you're looking at somebody, again, from a distance and you see them from far away, you're going to just see the shadow of the sun from above, let's say, hitting them and leaving a shadow underneath their eye. That's what you're seeing when you're seeing a person's eye from a long distance. So if you just go in there, throw some wash in there, it will work just fine. And then I said second to last. The last thing that I generally do is then to go through and do a quick highlight across the top of the nose, if they have one. Obviously, the Tau don't have noses. And there's other, people out there who don't as well. But usually along this top part, if you can get that bottom lip or the chin, and then a little bit right here, just a little bit of highlight with a tiny little brush, kind of boop, 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 and done. And then I am done with that face. There are steps beforehand. You may throw down some flesh washes. You may do a lot of different things. But the last two steps for me are always just fill the eye sockets with wash, wait for it to dry, and then a little highlight. Kind of like you're trying to protect yourself from sun, with the sunscreen. You put a little here, right there, a little on the forehead, and then you're done. So remember, you don't have to paint anything you don't want to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. It's your
Thanks.
hobby. Have a good time with it. If you want to
Don't
sit
have
down
to
and
be a
paint
gun pony,
eyes,
he's right.
knock yourself out. But if you're concerned about it and you're like, I don't think I can do it without making the models look, frankly, deranged, then don't bother. A little bit of wash in the eye sockets, and then go back and get a little bit of highlight. That highlight helps to also make the wash in the eye sockets kind of look darker by comparison. Do those things, and your faces are going to look a lot better, and you'll be able to get them done a little bit quicker.
Right. Let's go aggro surf shade. Oh. Let's float their eyeballs, brother.
Hi, it's Rob from the Brush and Bolt Gun. Today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to paint bladed weapons. Now I'll be showing you the techniques using an axe, but I'll also be showing the results that you can gain on a sword at the end as well. Now the whole axe has been undercoated with Citadel lead belcher, which has given it a nice smooth coat, except for these areas where the axe had bent and the paint had flaked, so I've used normal brushed on lead belcher there. We're going to start by applying some Citadel Null Oil just to bring out all the details and grub up that blade a little bit. And when you're doing swords and similar weapons with blades on, it's exactly the same technique as you'd use on this. So I'll be showing one of the Stormcast blades at the end, which has had exactly the same technique applied to it, so you can see the differences and the similarities to that. But if you apply the same technique to all blades, it gives them a nice used look, as well as giving them some nice shine on the edges of the blades. Like so. Next up, we're going to be using a little bit of Citadel lead belcher. We're just going to lightly wet brush that back onto the axe. Now I'm using only a small amount on the brush, and I'm gently going to brush that sideways across where this angled on the blade is. That's the area where it's going to get a lot of wear. I'd also get it right on the axe blade itself, but we'll be applying some to that in a moment. You just want to feather that onto the blade so it's nice and shiny where the angle is, and then it fades into where the null oil is. You're going to do this on both sides of the axe. This allows you to get some details and highlights onto a pretty smooth surface. What you also want to do is get the underside in the same way. Now, on this particular miniature it's not too important because the underside of the blade is always going to be facing the ground. So you can just do a little rough version of what you've done on the top side. But this would be exactly the same as a sword if the sword's got an angled double edge to it. So you'd have a ridge down the middle of the blade, so you'd be doing this to the ridge as well. Now you just want to be working that lead belcher right the way along the cutting edge of the blade too, to give that a nice shine, because that'd be probably the most well used area of it. Now we're going to use a little bit of Vallejo Model Air Chrome just to do some of the detail work on it. So I'm going to be using an Army Painter Wargamer character brush, which has got a nice thin tip to it, a very good point. You're just going to be doing some very thin, very fine lines using chrome across the edge of the blade. What this is to represent is areas where the blade's been caught, maybe when fighting or striking something, and it scratched the blade and just left a nice shiny mark through the dulled part of it. So if you can carry them onto the blade as well. Now you want to get a few different angles of these, so he's been in a bit of combat and they've been happening from different directions. You're also once again going to be using the chrome to go along the cutting edge of the blade. You also want to make sure that there's a little tiny ridge of that same chrome on the top edge of the cutting edge. So it looks like the area where it's been sharpened. So you want to go right the way along that blade with the chrome just to give that a good shine. You get a few going on different directions there, like I mentioned. Now you can see as the blade moves side to side on the edge that we haven't put any lines on yet. You can't see very much until you angle it slightly, and then you can see where that raised angle is, where we put the lead belter earlier. It just catches the light and separates it from the area that's got the null oil on. As I say with saw blades, it's exactly the same technique. You'd be putting that same silver around the very edge of the blade, or the model air chrome I should say, sorry, but a nice shiny metallic regardless of what colour it is, around the cutting edge of the blade to make it look like it's been sharpened. A few straight line, shiny straight lines going across the blade, just to show where blades or other weapons, maybe armour, have scraped it when it's been in a fight. Any little nicks and cuts that you want to do onto the blade, also use the chrome or the shiny metallic to do that as well. Finally, we're going to use a little bit of Citadel Agrax shade. We're going to use that around the bolts and around the handle. Just a few little bits on the blade, just to grubby that up, make it a little bit grimier. So maybe it's not been as thoroughly cleaned as the blade itself. Now this is a very, very quick and easy technique to use. So the whole thing here, start to finish with breaks, and a little bit of waffle has taken about 8 minutes. So if you're doing that on a lot of models or you're batch painting, you can obviously do it a bit quicker than that by batch painting. It's a very quick technique to use, and it does make them look great on the battlefield.
Shut up and sit down.
Hi guys, this is Big Mac's Workshop and Paint Studio. I'm Dodge and this is the paint palette tutorial. It's not a full length tutorial. What we've done is we broke down the video into 6 different sections so we can do 6 different versions of something. Example, leather, metallics, and you can get a good look at 6 different ways of doing things so you can find the colour for your army a lot faster than going through loads and loads of tutorials. So in a minute there's going to be 6 different images with timestamps so you can find the bit of the video that you want, and as this is not a normal layout of tutorial, I may not see you at the end, although I will be summarising everything at the end. So if I don't see you at the end, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a comment if you want to request any more paint palette videos. Right, so this week on the paint palette we are painting power weapons or energy weapons. As always on the paint palette, do not expect the greatest paint quality as it's all about the colour systems. And for the power weapons I've picked a bunch of prime colours there and a bunch of random colours that I thought might be interesting to do. So the first one is going to be the most classic one of all. We're going to go for a blue power sword. Now I do realise these are not actually power swords, but I snipped off the decorative bits, filed them down so we could use them as so. And we're going to use Cantor Blue by Games Workshop for this base. Keep your paint thin and give it a couple of layers. Once we've got a nice base of that, we're going to add Alitok Blue by Games Workshop into the Cantor Blue mix. And now this is going to be a pattern that we're going to continually do. We're going to keep adding paints, then using that paint on its own, then adding another paint. What it ended up like, sort of an amber power weapon. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I was surprised I managed to do anything with the yellows at all on a power weapon. So number 4, the purple power weapons. I kind of enjoyed painting these ones, so we're going to start with Games Workshop's Nagaroth Knight for a nice deep purple. It's a base paint, so make sure you water it down nicely, and use 2 thin coats. I do feel like I'm repeating myself a lot in this video, but that's mainly because people tend to jump back and forth through these videos to find what they want, so I do have to repeat things. Next, we're going to add Zarius Purple into the Nagaroth Knight, and we're going to use this to start painting our sections. And because it's just a mixture, you can get away with putting that on so you can see it visually, and it doesn't need blending too dramatically. I've followed the same pattern with all of these swords as well, just so they look a little bit better on the thumbnail and on the Lazy Susan. Next, we're just going to use Zarius Purple on its own. And all we really need to do, same with all the other ones, is pick out the brightest section, start there, then take the brush further back and go over it again as it starts to dry, and that'll really start to glaze those in, sort of. It's more like a feathering technique, but it'll build up those colours in the centre and at the sides where you want them. Now we're going to add Genestealer Purple into the Zarius Purple. And we're going to keep rinsing and repeating the same sort of technique. Don't be worried if you put it on a little bit too strong for your liking. You can always go back to the previous colour and just paint the opposite direction, which is something I do a lot when I'm doing this in reverse, when I need to darken the colour down rather than brighten it up. You can see those colours, they start to build up there. And always remember that the paint dries darker than what you start with. Then I think it is Genestealer Purple on its own. And now we're really starting to get some pink purple colour to it. You'll see me start in the hot spots every time and then get a good colour on there and then go and feather it or glaze it back in. Next we're going to add Scale 75's Miskatonic Grey into the Genestealer Purple. Now Miskatonic Grey is a very pale grey, I would say. It's quite bright as well, so you need to be pretty sparing with that mix to start off with. Again, painting that centre. coming. No.
I'll be using our crappiest brush with scratchy, so for the scratchy texture. We're just going to get our crappy bit and just drag it across. Then we get our there we go.
Yeah, so this one, on the box cover artwork, you can kind of see, and I'll show it in the video too, but the artwork depicts them having this like spectral, magical interior glow. That's where they get their like reanimated corpse life.
They're an animated skeleton. Skeletons in general don't just get up and walk around. They got to be magical.
Yeah, so there's some kind of little bit of magic making these skeletons walk around and fight their enemies. And yeah, this time around I just wanted to cover a real simple approach to kind of laying some OSL, some internal light, you know, coming out of like the empty eye sockets, and if the mouth,
even the mouth a little bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
The mouth happens to be open, then we're putting light in there too. All right, thanks for tuning in for another installment on our sepulchral guard video. We've been debating how to pronounce that, but it doesn't flow off of my tongue so easily. But anyways, so what we're doing now is I wanted to create some kind of OSL effect. It's going to be real quick and dirty, but on the box artwork, you can see the little dude has like kind of an internal enchantment, magical glow coming from his skull. So I'm going to try to mimic that, and to do that, the colors involved, I've got some Murderous Magenta from P3, my Foundation White from Vallejo, and then I have I mixed up some purple inks from these FW inks. I just got the the red one and the blue one mixed together to make purple. So we're going to start by just adding a white base coat to the area that we want the OSL to be. Should be inside the eye sockets. If the mouth is open, well, it'll be coming out of there too, brother. So I'll just add a little white into the eyes, like so. And as fortune would have it, this guy's mouth is wide open. So I'll just add some purple into that. And the reason I'm adding the white in there is because I want it to be bright and it's going to provide a better foundation to paint the purple on top of. If I just started throwing the purple on top of black, it would be a little more affected by the black undercoat, so the white will allow it to come through a little more vibrantly. So next, I'll just mix a little bit of the foundation.
Absolute dark, quick and dirty skin for our parent. For little guardsman, the painted hand, she missed his hand. So it's just Bugsman glow. And we've got some Kislev flesh, dry brush ready. And that already has a wash in it. Agric Surfshade, which everything is drenched in. You see not much detail upon his face. His half his face is gone. Get our dry brush. And then we're just gonna go up. Hand, we're going to go down. Okay, I will say it is a bit chalky. But at the end of the day, it's an Imperial Guard, we don't really care. And we can always go back and fix. So he's got some grey on him. Go back and we'll fix that. Go up on the hands. We're just gonna have to go back and clean some parts. Carry on, mate. Oh shit. Okay, I'm going towards it. B. Orange, you want to go towards A with green, then blue can come to me if you want. I'll get you that. Oh, you can get that. Yeah. I never knew that. Dry brush. Dry brush.
I know when there's attention, so I don't have
So there's a bright wizard psyker. Pretty cute, pretty cute, pretty well, I've never seen anyone with one. But I think it's my favourite model from the Imperial Guard army. Yeah, we're done. Actually. No, we're done. Pretty cute. If you don't know, bright wizards are fire wizards from Warhammer Fantasy, which is the superior Warhammer to I would say it's better than 40k, but what do I know? No, actually no, they're two completely different things. Yeah, they are.
I'm coming, bud.
Damn, I am chuffed with that. Got the commissar done, Ogrin's done, all the boys are done really. Just a few touches ups. Touchy ups? Touch ups. English. Well, it's not a hard language. Yeah. What was that? Craig. Done. Nice. Now we need to do our commander. Where's lead punch? here we go. I'm not gonna say tomorrow because I always say tomorrow and it's never tomorrow. But yeah, we still got a bit to do. Did loads today though. Literally, it's like a handful of things to do. Pretty chuffed though. We got the characters done, got Ogring done. 90% of the boys done. A sniper, a jetpack boy, heavy team, and the vehicles. Yeah, that milk's been there for 4 hours. Still gonna drink it. I guess this is goodbye. Goodbye, my love. Bye, my friend.